Good morning, Valley of the Sun. Thank you for joining me, Nathan Claiborne, your host of the Phoenix Real Estate Roundup. Today is Wednesday, February 1st, and wow, this valley is electric. The Super Bowl is here, the teams are set, the final arrangements are being made for all the events that are going to happen. It's just the anticipation is killing me. And then, of course, we have the Phoenix Open as well, which is always a blast. This time of year is just such a fun time. Between now and the end of April is just the whole reason we live here, and I love it. So, in the real estate side of things, the active listing count this morning on the Arizona MLS, 15,535 listings available for sale here in the Valley. Let's just remember last week, that number was 15,850. So that's a 2% drop week over week. That's significant. And so inventory is going down. Repeat after me. Inventory is going down. And if supply of a thing is reduced, what happens to the price of that thing? That's right. We learned that in Economics 101, that the price of that will then go up, assuming that demand stays the same. And demand is actually moving up too, because here's the next stat I always give, right? The average 30-year fixed rate mortgage rate this morning, 6.16%. And, of course, today is Fed Day. We will hear from Jerome Powell and the rest of the folks there. Well, Jerome Powell's the one who's going to talk, but based on their discussions and activity the last quarter, they're gonna raise interest rates about 0.25%. That's kind of what the consensus is anticipating, and that's what the market has priced in. And I think that's probably right. He's going to raise it by 0.25% instead of the 75%, the 0.75% increases that he has been doing for the last several cycles. So the signs of inflation are easing to some degree. There's some reasons for optimism as far as how the economy is performing at the moment. It's important to remember that inflation is actually an indication that the economy is doing too well, because prices are going to run away, and that's always there's always a dividing point. But that is what inflation is. It means that our economy is on fire and it's doing quite well, and too well, more well than we can handle. So slowing that down is a delicate dance, and I think so far the Fed has done it as well as they could have. They were a little bit late to the draw, but hindsight's always 20/20 on this thing. I think that the damages are relatively minimal. Getting to that, I don't know if I've been explicit about it, but the peak of the market, of the recent peak, was spring of last year, about April, May of last year, was when home prices hit their top. They have come off 8% since that time here in the Phoenix Valley. That's according to the Case-Shiller home price index. So down 8% from the peak, which 8% is a lot. I mean, that is a lot. But it's not correction territory. It's not, debilitating for most borrowers. On a $400,000 house, 8% would be $32,000, which is a lot of money if you have to turn around and sell the house you just bought last year. Hopefully you don't have to do that. But it looks like to me, with the two stats that I'm giving you, the fact that inventory is going down and so are interest rates, that prices are not really headed downward in any meaningful way from here. That's just my gut instinct. Let's remember that although I am a licensed real estate broker here in Arizona, this is all just speculation based on the data that I look at every day. So don't go out there and put all your life savings on the line for what I'm saying. But just know that I do look at this every day and pay attention. And I'm kind of a nerd, believe it or not. I'm kind of a nerd about it. So here's what the Phoenix Business Journal has to say. Home prices are now down 8% in Phoenix compared to the 2022 spring peak, which was twice as large as the decline in prices nationally. So nationally, home prices went down 4%. Here in Phoenix, they went down 8%. But still lower than the declines in the Bay Area and Seattle, where they have gone down by 14% in those two markets. Still, with the home price growth during the early days of the pandemic, home prices in Phoenix are now almost 40%. That's right, 40% higher than they were at the onset of the pandemic. So between 2020 and now, if you owned a home, it went up 40%. And then it bounced off the top by 8%. Well, I'm sorry, it went up 48% and then it bounced off the top back to 40%. That's what actually happened. So let's just keep that in mind, that over the last 5 years, owning a home has been a very good investment for many, many people, many of my clients and many of the clients that are looking to sell their property right now, which we expect, I'm hoping, and because there's so much energy, I think, in the market right now due to the low interest rates, that we're definitely going to see a strong selling season, a spring selling season that we like to see. And I'm excited for it, frankly. We also saw the first uptick since spring of last year in pending home sales, pending contracts. So all pretty good news, it seems to me. And next is your Baller House of the Week. This week, ladies and gentlemen, we have a tie. There were 2 homes sold in the last 7 days here in this market. Both of them sold for $11 million even, and both of them are situated in Paradise Valley, as most of these homes are. Not all of them, but oftentimes you'll find that these are in Paradise Valley. The first one is an 8-bedroom, 13-bathroom palatial building, 15,600 square feet of built space on a 70,000 and some odd square foot lot. It's a big one, listed by Launch Real Estate, and on the buyer side was EXP. Congratulations to those agents and that buyer. And then tie number 2. So that one is at 7528 North 66th Street in Paradise Valley. This one at 5029 East Desert Park Lane, Paradise Valley. Also $11 million. 6 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms, a modest 8,403 square feet of built space on a 46,000, just over an acre lot. This was brokered on the listing side also by Launch Real Estate. And then on the buyer side, beat by Bespoke Real Estate. Again, congratulations to everybody involved in both of those sales, and especially the buyers of those remarkable properties in Paradise Valley. $11 million, that's high. We love to see that kind of activity. Something of note, speaking of price ranges, et cetera, there's my segue for you. Something I just ran across earlier this week was a stat that days on market for homes in the 400 to 550 or 600,000 range, somewhere up in the 70 range. Like if you divide it up into price ranges, the homes in the 650 to a million price range are selling faster than any other price range. So that move up category is selling faster. And guess what? This is all, you can see why that would happen, because you have some homeowners who purchased in the last 10 years and are sitting on a lot of equity and are able to move up. And the interest rate is not going to kill them. They are financially successful enough, have done well enough on their current home to be able to sit pretty on their next home. And that's the part of the market that is in elevated shape right now. So I think that's where a lot of the demand is. So I want to thank you all for joining me this week on the Phoenix Real Estate Roundup. I hope you found some value. I am Nathan Claiborne, associate broker with the Daniel Montez Real Estate Group, and I am proud to bring you every week the Phoenix Real Estate Roundup. Thanks for joining me.